It was supposed to be an ordinary Saturday, a quiet evening to myself, with my son Wilson away on a camping trip. But Jackson's unexpected arrival had thrown a spark into the stillness, and as the hours passed, I realized I wasn't in any rush for him to leave. The initial awkwardness of his visit had melted away as we sat in the kitchen, sipping coffee and talking about everything and nothing. There was something about Jackson that was different from most people I encountered. Something calming, magnetic. His quiet confidence and warmth drew me in, and I found myself wanting to know more, to listen longer, to watch the way his smile lit up his face. After coffee, we moved to the living room, settling onto the couch as the sunlight outside dimmed into twilight. The warm golden glow of the room felt intimate, almost as if the house itself was cocooning us in this unexpected moment together. "I can't believe how fast time flies," Jackson said, his gaze lingering on a family photo of Wilson and me from years ago. "I still remember coming over here when we were in high school. You'd always make us snacks, let us take over the living room with our video games." I chuckled. "I didn't have much choice. You boys were relentless." He smiled, his dark eyes softening. "You were always so good to us. To me." The way he said it made my heart skip a beat. There was something in his voice, gratitude, but also something deeper, something unspoken. I felt the air shift, heavy with the weight of unacknowledged feelings. "You've grown up a lot since then," I said, my voice quieter than I'd intended. "So have you," he replied, a teasing glint in his eye. "Not older, though, just more you." I felt a warmth rise to my cheeks, and I laughed to cover it. "Careful, Jackson. Flattery will get you everywhere." His laughter joined mine, but as it faded, the silence that followed felt charged. He leaned back against the couch, his body angled toward me, and for a moment, I couldn't look away. The boy I'd known had grown into a man, strong, kind, and undeniably handsome. "I don't think I've ever told you this," he said, his voice softer now, "but you've always been someone I looked up to. You're different. You listen. You care. It's rare to find someone like that." The honesty in his words caught me off guard, and I felt my chest tighten. "That means a lot coming from you, Jackson. You've always been special. I see it, and I know Wilson does too." He smiled, but there was something vulnerable in the way he looked at me, as though he wanted to say more, but wasn't sure how. The silence between us stretched, not awkward, but full of possibility. As the room grew darker, I stood up to turn on a lamp. The soft glow illuminated his face, highlighting the angles of his jaw, the curve of his lips. When I sat back down, he was closer than before, his knee brushing against mine. The contact was brief but electric, sending a shiver up my spine. "You okay?" he asked, his voice low, his concern genuine. I nodded, my heart pounding. "Yeah, I'm fine." He studied me for a moment, then reached out, his hand resting lightly on mine. His touch was warm, grounding, and yet it sent a rush of heat through me that I couldn't ignore. "Jackson," I began, unsure of what I wanted to say. "You don't have to say anything," he interrupted gently. "I know this is unexpected, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable. But I need you to know, you mean more to me than just being Wilson's dad." His words hung in the air, and I felt my breath catch. The vulnerability in his eyes, the way his hand stayed steady on mine. It was all too much, and yet not enough. "I don't know what to say," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "Then don't say anything," he said, leaning in slightly. "Just tell me if this is okay." My heart was racing, but I didn't pull away. Instead, I met his gaze, letting him see the answer in my eyes. Slowly, he leaned closer, his movements deliberate, giving me every chance to stop him. But I didn't. When his lips finally met mine, it was soft and tentative at first, a question more than a statement. But as I responded, as I let myself fall into the warmth of his kiss, it deepened, becoming something more, something I hadn't realized I'd been yearning for. His hand cupped my cheek, his thumb brushing against my skin as our lips moved together. The world outside faded away, leaving only the two of us in this moment that felt both impossible and inevitable. When we finally pulled back, his forehead rested against mine, our breaths mingling in the quiet space between us. "I've wanted to do that for a while," he admitted, a shy smile tugging at his lips. I couldn't help but smile back. "So have I." For the first time in a long time, I felt alive, truly, deeply alive. And as we sat there, our hands still intertwined, I realized that maybe, just maybe, this unexpected connection was exactly what I had been waiting for all